According to the Jewish law, when someone hears another person reciting ordained blessings, such as those uttered during prayers or recited over food, one is obligated to make specific responses. Having the opportunity to respond to a blessing is considered precious by pious people. One morning, a chassid, for some reason, entered the dwelling of his elderly Rebbe, Rabbi Avraham Yehoshua Heschel Tversky of Machnovka, and saw a strange sight. The Rebbitzin, Chava Bas Tzion, was standing next to her seated husband with a siddur in her hand and was reciting with passionate devotion the morning blessings. And the Rebbe was fervently answering in response, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, blessed is he and blessed is his name, and Amen for each blessing. Although women are not obligated to recite the morning prayers, many pious women, particularly very pious women like the Rebbitzin, make it a point to do so. Yet the Rebbe's practice of responding to the Rebbitzin's blessing was certainly unusual, and the scene seemed so bizarre to the chassid that he could not hide his amazement. Noticing the chassid's reaction, the Rebbe explained, "Know, my friend, that I was exiled for 4 whole years in Siberia. Most people couldn't even imagine the suffering of body and soul that the exiles experienced, let alone the sufferings of a devout Jew whose whole being aches for something spiritual, for a little Jewishness. Yet we were never able to get even the least bit of Jewish holiness to satisfy our desperate craving. I had the good fortune that after much pleading on my behalf, together with large bribes handed out by close associates, I was given permission to have a visit from my wife, the Rebbitzin, the daughter of the Rebbe of Zurich, for a few weeks. The trip she made from Moscow to visit me in a faraway Siberia lasted a full month, with inconveniences and discomforts that can hardly be imagined and require the kind of self-sacrifice that only a great woman like the Rebbitzin is capable of. How happy was I then when, after being cut off for so long from hearing any holy words of prayer or Torah, the Rebbitzin surprised me from the very first day of her arrival by standing up early in the morning in order to recite before me the morning blessings, giving me the great merit and pleasure of responding fittingly to her blessings. Yet this Garden of Eden did not last long, because her visitor's permit soon expired and she had to return to Moscow. But the sweet taste of her morning blessings stayed with me, and the longer my exile endured, the greater did my longing increase to hear the morning blessings uttered by such a totally pious woman from the depths of her pure heart. The moment we were reunited, we resumed this former custom of ours." The Rebbe concluded, "I have no doubt that our custom is also considered precious in heaven, because it symbolizes the age-old yearning of Jews throughout the centuries to come close to God, even when they are crushed and broken. The gratitude I still feel for the Rebbitzin's blessings during my time of exile is expressed in the poem Ribon Kol HaOlamim, Master of all the worlds, that we recite before the Kiddush on Shabbat evening. I will speak of your greatness in song and place your presence before me, for you had mercy on me to redeem me in my exile and aroused my heart to your love." In his Siberian exile, the Rebbe was starved for spirituality and holiness. He yearned to see another pious Jew. His heart ached to hear words of Torah and prayer. And his holy wife knew what he needed and gave him comfort and consolation with the sweet sound of her morning blessings. Why was the chassid shocked? Because such intimacy between Rebbe and Rebbitzin is unusual in Hasidic society, and it is uncommon for a man to arrange to respond this way to his wife's blessings. The chassid probably also sensed that this scene, the Rebbe was the receiver and the Rebbitzin the giver and benefactor, contrary to the standard pattern of Rebbes being the spiritual benefactor to his Hasidim or to anyone else. The Kabbalah says that all of reality operates according to patterns of giving and receiving, and that typically men are givers and women are takers. Yet we are told that in the period leading up to the redemption of the world, women will become givers. Just as the Rebbe was redeemed from his spiritual exile by the piety of his Rebbetzin. The mutual dedication to holiness of Rebbe Avraham Yehoshua Heschel and Rebbetzin Chava Bas Tzion foreshadows a future time, the time of the Messiah, when husband and wife will be truly one on their yearning for the one and only one. This story comes from Jewish Tales of Holy Women by Yitzchak Buxbaum.